Right, well, I can start. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this by many people, how absolutely wonderful the film is. I burst into tears when it ended when I watched it.
Oh,
Such a
that's
brilliant
really
piece,
lovely.
brilliant piece of filmmaking. I mean, and one thing I can speak to you about, which I'm sure obviously many interviewers haven't had the chance to yet, is how it feels to be a multi-Oscar nominated filmmaker. I mean, how you must have been over the moon when you found out.
Yeah, truly. I mean, it's a crazy thing, and yeah, you have. I mean, after all of these years of kind of committing to this movie, to feel it recognized in that way, it is profound, and I think it's crazy to not feel it. You'd be crazy to not feel it. It's just so wonderful, particularly um, particularly for the people. That's where I really felt it. I don't know what I would have done with myself if Paul hadn't been recognized, and Riz, and because these are people, and everyone, my producers, Paul, Riz, the whole team that got nominated, they're all people that just put their faith in me in a way that they put their faith in me in a very deep way, and really went the distance for this little film that isn't so little, actually. Whether it was the 23-week sound mix or the whatever, imagine a 23-week sound mix that's 6 times longer than the film shoot. That's a kind of a commitment. How do you get that out of people? So to see that, these people rewarded, these fine artists rewarded with a nomination, that's really profound.
Have you got a tuxedo ready? I mean, I guess you could only wear, like, you only need to wear half of it. I suppose you could wear
Oh,
pajamas.
it's not virtual.
Oh, 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 it's not. Oh, wow. Well, there we go.
It's in person.
Oh,
It's what, all of this has been virtual, and there's not a lot of joy in the virtual world, as we know. There's a virtual award show is basically just work. So, and it's not a complaint, it's just an observation. But yeah, the Oscars is going to be in person. It will look different and feel different than it ever has, but I do believe it's in person.
well, in that case, I would wear a full tuxedo.
I think I'll go with the full tux. Yeah, the tux with the boxer shorts might not cut it.
I mean, you mentioned Riz and Paul. I mean, but I just wanted to talk about Riz quickly. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm from England that we're so proud of him, but it's an exceptional performance, isn't it? I mean, because this requires so much nuance. There's so much is left kind of unsaid in this, and Riz's eyes tell a million stories. You must have been so thrilled to get him on board for this role.
Beyond thrilled. And I had said no to a lot of versions of the movie that weren't quite right. And so finding an actor like Riz, who's at such an outrageously high talent level, I really think he's one of the finest working actors. He's one of those rare actors that can embody worlds that would seem way beyond him, and they're not. But then the process he went through, which is rare unto itself. There's just, maybe one actor every 10 years does a process like this, if that, and it really bears mentioning. He doesn't, he committed to a process, which is fascinating if you think about it, that he would commit to this process without any assurance. It's not like this being my first fiction film, and he just went all in. I mean, to say 100% is, he went all in, and that was month after month after month of preparing for this, of us working in a way together that was different. I had a very specific process that I wanted him to go through, and he was game. He was game, and he's game in a way that only Riz can be. He pushes back. He's questioning everything, pushing boundaries, just as I like it. Really, it's never comfortable. It's always really striving for a level of authenticity and immersion that's just truly unusual. So, I am thrilled that he's being noticed for that, and he deserves every second of it, because I just think there just isn't, we just don't see that these days. We don't see it.
And I mean, of course, they're both him and sort of Paul and all the cast did a wonderful job. It's not to take away what you managed to achieve. I mean, the balancing of each component, which is sort of deserving of its own movie. You've got the relationship between Lou and Ruben, the drug addiction and the rehab, and then the loss of his hearing. I mean, was it quite a struggle to kind of manage all of those different ideas and themes without making kind of sacrifices and ensure they all had their own importance in this narrative?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a real struggle, like that kind of incredibly delicate balance that is this film. I give a lot of credit to Mikkel, my editor, but also it involved all those years of writing, finding how to um, how to take a story that, yes, begins with a relationship that gives way into this onslaught, this kind of gestalt deafness experience, and then a handoff into the world of addiction, all without ever saying the word addiction or a sponsor or anything. You just have to see it occur and feel it and understand it. That was a very, very hard balance, and also the most exciting and intoxicating one to try to achieve. But it took a level of time and focus and energy. Like I talk about Mikkel and the editing. Finding a way to create that balance was very hard, and not having too much over here and enough over there and just enough in the relationship department, but not too much, so that, it was just extraordinarily difficult and wonderful.
I mean, the use of sound is incredible. I was watching just the other day. I was watching The Godfather, and there's just the scene where Michael Corleone is sat in a kind of in a restaurant, and you can just hear this train going past. And very subconsciously, you realize how important sound can be in movies. Just the
Yeah.
way the train going past builds up the tension. But there were some scenes in this where you had to remove sound, but maintain that kind of dramatic tension. Do you think, in some ways, this movie is a real kind of example of how much stillness and quiet can work in cinema and still be just as impactful as sound?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that when you're talking about taking things away, um, it's really interesting because um, silence by itself is just silence. Silence juxtaposed against the integrity of sound is a whole other thing. And so creating the framework to feel silence is really interesting. Um, it's a little like a watercolor. You have a white page, and in order to paint white with the watercolors, you have to create color to juxtapose against the white page. In other words, there's no white watercolor paint. It's the page itself, and that's a little bit like what this film is. You have this silence that's easy. Silence is always there, but how do you feel silence? How do you create the landscape to feel it? That's a very, very exciting kind of conversation that we were always having. And I think part of that is, on a cinematic level, is engaging in the discipline of feeling itself. So if feeling itself and visceral feeling and attention to sound is a discipline, you cannot do that at the same time as you slather a film with score, or narration. Because once you do that, we no longer are sensitive. Our muscles to listen have been taken away. And so you have to commit to a very, very, disciplined language in order to feel sound, in order to hear sound. I love the reference of the Corleone, the moment right before he shoots the guy and gets the gun off the toilet. Again, what I think about in that scene, and it's a great example, is what they had to do to earn the scene. So you're suggesting that you felt the tension with the train, and you do, and I know the train sound you're talking about is that elevated train that they're driving under. But the fact that that noise provokes tension in you is so wonderful, because they had to create, that was the moment before Michael becomes Michael. So they had to earn that character who was for the longest time reserved and the last person on earth you think would have strength. That's the sort of language in films I just love. The willingness to earn the moment with the train in that restaurant. It's exactly right. It's about trusting the audience.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say before I do go, that was a great answer, by the way. But there's an inclination of late, for filmmakers who make these kind of brilliant, sometimes first-time films, often on kind of more modest-sized budgets, and they'll get acknowledged in kind of award season to then be given the keys to kind of major blockbuster franchises. Is that a path you'd ever consider going down yourself one day? Because there have been quite a few filmmakers who make movies sort of a similar ilk, sort of budget-wise, maybe to Sound of Metal. Next thing you know, they're helming a kind of Marvel film or something.
Well, yeah, that does happen. I mean, Chloe Zhao has a Marvel film coming out later this year, and that seems to happen invariably, inevitably. I question it a bit. I don't know why. It's so interesting. I've had many of these conversations where people have said, my goodness, that felt like a new experience, that felt so exciting and fresh and original and really blew me away. I'd love to see you do a Marvel film. And I thought, why on earth would you say all those things only to want me to do something that we've seen over and over and over again? Why? I am sick to death of that progression, frankly. I don't mind anything. I love film in all of its genres. I love film, and Marvel films, are Marvel films, and any genre can be really interesting and cool. And I would just say of myself, if it challenges me, if it pushes me as a filmmaker, I'm in, and I won't say that's not this or not that, but I will say I'm not doing something. I don't do this to do it. It's like life's too short. And generally someone doesn't make one Marvel film. I think that's important to notice. That world wants to suck you in and suck you dry.
Yeah, which it does to a lot of its audience members too. But thank you so much, Darius, for your time today. I thought, like I said, Sound of Metal was an exceptional movie, and I can't wait to see whatever you go on to next. And best of luck at the Oscars as well.
Oh, thanks so much, man. Nice to meet you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey